Okay, so let's start today standing up, since we're already standing up. And let's do some shaking and jumping. I feel like we haven't done that in a while. You can shake out everything, shake out the hands, the feet, maybe jump around, maybe the head. Let your breath be steady as you do this. Maybe let out big sighs. 7. Maybe hum a little bit. Good. All right, 5 more seconds. And you can stop now. It's landing in your mountain pose, letting everything settle down. Letting your breath catch up with you. And just making note how you're starting the practice today. On your next inhale, reach the arms up and over the head, gather up the space, interlace the hands at the top with your pointer fingers extended, and reach really high. Notice if your ribs, or if your lower ribs are spreading out, and tuck them back under to keep the spine nice and long. Tuck your tailbone down, keep your legs active, your inner thighs pull in toward each other. Maybe bringing the biceps up alongside the ears a little bit more. And feel the space from your hip bones through the bottom of the ribs getting longer. Breathe into this space. Staying steady with your breath. Inhale, reach a little bit higher. And now exhale, bend on over to the right. So as much as your body wants to go. On each inhale, you reach a little bit longer. And on each exhale, see if you can bend a little deeper. And keeping the weight on your legs and feet even to how they were before. Feeling the space from the outside edge of your left foot all the way through the side body and the fingertips. One more breath. As you inhale, reach back up to center. Switch the interlacing of your hands so it feels a little funny. Reach a little higher as you inhale. Exhale, bend on over to the left. Arms getting tired now, breathing into it. Keeping those legs active, feeling the breath be steady. Each inhale, get a little bit longer. Each exhale, bend a little deeper. Again, knitting those ribs back under. Another 2 breaths. Awesome. And inhale, reach back up to center. And exhale, bring the arms down by your side with purpose, letting them come down. Great. Shake them out. Shake out the hands. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you can step toward the back of your mat. We'll inhale, reach the arms high once again. And then this time we'll exhale and hinge at your hips, lead with your heart, dive yourself forward through half lift all the way down into forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to, being a little bit more generous for our first forward fold of the day. When our knees are bent, we can the stretch focuses more on the spine. So in our forward folds, we really want to release the spine. So you bend the knees so much that the hamstrings don't have to work so hard. And then over time, after some big exhales here, staying steady with the breath, You can start to lift your sit bones a little bit higher, just adding a little bit more length to the backs of the legs. Nothing too crazy. Maybe taking turns, bending one leg and the other. Take audible exhales here. Let your muscles on your face release. Let your head be super heavy so that you feel the neck lengthen. Allow your head to dangle yes and no. Letting go in the shoulders. Let's take 5 more breaths like this, letting it go. And then on your next inhale, rise up to a halfway lift. So keep that core active, long tabletop spine. Your hands can rest on the shins. And now bring your heart forward from where you are. Yeah. And turn your gaze right to the floor. Perfect. And you want to think about pulling your sit bones back, like straight back behind you, and the crown of your head straight forward. Pull the navel up to the spine, support your lower back. Perfect. And exhale, release. Let's do that again. Inhale, rise up, halfway lift. And this time, maybe you bring your hands to your hips. And your elbows, your elbows are even with the torso. This is a little bit more challenging on the core. Stay with the breath, one more round. And exhale, release. And this time, inhale to halfway lift. And then maybe you bring your hands behind your head and open up your elbows to the sides. This is the most challenging one. So do your best to keep your heart pulling forward. Think about bringing your, exactly. Keeping that lower belly tight. Keeping the sit bones pulling back, crown of the head reaching forward, elbows reaching toward the ceiling. Awesome. And exhale, release. Forward fold. Let it go. Walk your hands forward now, and we'll come into our downward facing dog. Awesome. So feel your heart reaching toward the tops of your thighs. Feel your armpits facing each other. Really active in the corners of your hands, like at the base of the fingers, base of the pointer, thumb, and pinky in particular. And also the base or the heel of your hand, along with the tips of each finger. So it's kind of as if I heard someone say, as if there was a butterfly underneath the palm of your hand. So you have like a suction-like grip against the floor. And keep your sit bones lifting as high as they can. You can always bend the knees as much as they need to. Feel a nice stretch down the backs of the legs, regardless of how much the knees are bent. And you can freestyle here a little bit. You can do whatever you want to do to kind of wake up the spine. Maybe you take turns dipping each hip down. You can turn your right hip to kind of point toward the floor, and your right knee points toward your left, and then the other side. Yeah, it feels really good. And you can explore maybe looking under each armpit, waking up the neck a little bit. And you always have permission to find stillness in any pose if that's what's calling to you. Awesome. So on your next inhale, shift your body forward into a plank position. So your shoulders are over at wrists, heels reach back, and the crown of the head reaches forward, just like in a half lift. Heart comes forward like in a half lift. Awesome. One more breath, holding like this. And then exhale, slowly bend the knees and allow them to find the mat, tabletop position. You can bring the knees so that they're underneath the hips. The shoulders are over the wrists. And just find some or focus on getting that right alignment so far in your tabletop. And the same active grip in the hands. And then inhale, drop your belly down, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, cow pose. Exhale, pull the navel up to the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone to your cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. We'll stay in cow pose for just a few breaths. And as you're here, really let the energy reach up toward the ceiling from the space in between your sit bones. Let your heart come down and forward. Feel the space from your chin and your sternum getting longer. Awesome. And then exhale, pull the navel in toward the spine. Tuck the chin down toward the chest. Lift the back of your heart toward the ceiling. And pull your pelvic floor in and up. So feel your pubic bone and your two hip bones coming closer together. Your lower belly zipping up, really active. Perfect. Inhale, drop your belly, lift the gaze, remembering those last alignment cues. And exhale, pull it back. So you can continue with these cat-cows with your breath for a few more rounds. And you always have permission to add in some other movements. If you want to wag the tail, waking up the side bodies even more, looking back toward either hip, maybe rolling out the shoulders and the hips in circles. I heard a teacher once say, scooping out the peanut butter jar. That's kind of the motion. Always permission to close the eyes and really just listen to what your body wants to do. Your body knows more how you want to move than your mind knows. So practice getting into the body, listening there. Not worrying about what it looks like at all. Just focusing on the feeling. Let's do 5 more breaths with your own movements. Awesome. Great. And when you are ready, no rush, you can come back to your neutral tabletop. Just observe the sensations in the spine. And then extend your right leg back behind you so that the toes are on the ground and you're reaching through the heels. So you're in a 3-legged table with a kickstand on your right leg. So don't just let the right leg hang out. Let this be active. Feel the energy reaching from the crown of your head all the way through the spine, all the way through the right heel. Keep the hands pressing into the mat. And also press down in the top of your left foot. Or if the left toes are tucked under, press down there. Whatever feels better. And now as you inhale, you can rise your right leg off the mat. And notice when you do this how your belly wants to drop down. And pull the belly back in so that you really keep that straight spine. You can keep your right foot flexed really strongly, or you can floint the foot and reach through the ball of the foot. So it's kind of a mixture of a point and a flex. Whatever feels best to keep your leg active. And then as you inhale, reach the leg long. And exhale, crunch your knee in toward the nose, really in the cat spine. Tuck your nose toward the knee. Inhale, reach the leg long. And exhale, crunch it in. We'll do one more time just like that. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale, crunch it in. And now this time we'll inhale, reach it long, and then bend the leg and reach the foot up toward the ceiling and kind of come into a cow spine. So your heart comes forward, your chin lifts away from the sternum, reaching up with that foot. And now exhale, crunch it in. There's a little bit fuller of a movement. Inhale to reach and to lift the foot up. Exhale to crunch. One more, just like that. So now we'll inhale, reach the foot up again. We'll hold it here for a moment. And now there's an option here if you want to challenge yourself to start to walk your left fingertips forward. Great. And if you feel steady here, really remember your core. If you feel steady here, you can reach your left arm back and reach toward that right foot. You don't have to grab hold of it, or reach toward it. The goal being to eventually grab hold of the foot and kick your foot into your hand and pull your shoulder back for, yeah, perfect. All right, great. And then you can release the foot if you had a hold on it. Allow your left hand to come to the mat, right knee to come down, release. You can sit back on the heels and give your wrists a break. Shake them out. Maybe turn the backs of your hands to each other or take some circles with them. Child's pose, always welcome. Great. When you're ready, we'll even out and do that on the other side. So coming back into your strong table. This is your foundation, so make sure you're very strong here and the rest of everything will be a lot easier. So now extend your left leg back, reaching through that heel. We're going in baby steps, so making sure we're okay on every step along the way. So we're not just going right into the hardest part. So really lifting the navel up toward the spine, reaching through that heel from the crown of the head through the heel. Keeping that core active, keeping the hands actively pushing into the mat. Inhale, rise your left leg off the mat. So noticing how the rest of your body takes on that added pressure, keeping the right foot active as well, and right shin. That's helpful. Perfect. Inhale, reach that leg a little bit longer, pointing or floating or flexing the foot. And then exhale, knee comes to nose. Cat spine, crunch it in. We'll do this 3 times again. So inhale, reach that leg long. Exhale, crunch it in. And just for this first one, just reach it long. You can keep your spine straight. Yeah, perfect. And now exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, reach it long. And exhale to hold. And now inhale, point your sole of your foot up toward the ceiling, bend that leg. Now cow spine. Yeah. And exhale, crunch it in. Cat spine. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, crunch. Once more. Wonderful. And now we'll inhale, reach that leg back up. If you want that extra challenge, you walk your right fingertips forward first and just feel comfortable here. If this feels good, you can bend your left foot toward the bum and find a focal point. This is balance here. And reach back toward your foot. And then if you have hold, kick your foot into your hand. Perfect. So strong. Awesome. If you have hold, you can release. Bring your hand down, bring your knee down. Sit the hips on the heels, child's pose. Relax the head down. Awesome. And shake out the wrists. Breathe into your thighs. Feel the belly expanding into the thighs. Wonderful. And when you're ready, you can come back up to your table. And yeah, let's do that. You can bring your fingertips to face your knees. The palms of the hands on the ground for now. And really stretch into this forearm part of your hands. And as you do this, you can start to shift your hips back, but keep the heel of your hand on the floor. So you might not go back far at all. As far as if your heel starts to come off the floor, just bring it back down, bring yourself back up, breathe into the arms. Relax the shoulders a little bit. Cool. And now you can keep the fingertips pointing toward the knees, just turn onto the backs of the hands. Stretching out the top of your forearm, I guess. And then again, you can shift the hips down toward the heels just as much as you can with the wrist still staying on the floor, and do your best to keep your pinkies and thumbs on the floor too. Keep your hands pressing down. Cool. And then you can sit back on the heels, just shake them out. Maybe take some circles. Grab some wah-wah. I want wah-wah. Or coffee. Great. So then we'll come back up to table. And we'll stretch out the shoulders a bit. So you can walk the hands forward, melt the heart down, puppy pose. Keeping those hips right over the knees. So shift them forward a little bit, Mom. Yeah, perfect. And just like in the other things we were doing, let the energy reach up through the space in between your sit bones. Feeling that slight arch forming in your lower back, or the sensation that it would be. Your forehead or your chin is resting on the mat or a block. And you're keeping your forearms actively rooted into the mat here. This isn't a passive pose. It can be, but we're going to practice this actively right now. So spreading the fingers wide, just like in table and down dog, pressing in with the forearms and the hands. And every time you exhale, actively draw the shoulder blades a little bit closer together and a little bit further down the back. And every time you exhale, actively surrender in the front of your chest and your heart. Awesome. And now slowly you can start to pull the navel up to the spine, feeling the lower back at length, and slowly roll your body forward. We'll come into a Sphinx pose. So your pubic bone comes to the mat. You land with your shoulders over elbows. And so you want your elbows to be in line with the shoulders when you look down at them, but from a side view, the elbows are just ever so slightly in front of the shoulders. And still keeping the forearms and the hands active, feel as if you could drag your heart through your upper arms. Your neck is long, perfect. Press your pubic bone into the mat and zip up your legs. So bring your feet together, bring your inner thighs toward each other and squeeze them toward each other. And press your big toes into the mat, so maybe your knees slightly lift off the mat. Pressing your pubic bone down into the mat, feeling more length in the lower back, breathing. As you inhale, let the crown of your head reach toward the top corner of the room. And as you exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over your left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, look over the right. One more time, either side. Inhale to center. Exhale, look over the left. And come to center. Exhale, you can release your head to the ground. You can make a pillow with your hands, forehead resting there. Bend the knees toward the bum and windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Just release the lower back, massage the belly and the abs. We've done some work already. Hear your breath against the mat. Feel your breath within the body. And then when you're ready, you can bring the legs back long on your mat. And let's prop ourselves up on the forearms. So you hold on to your elbows with the opposite hand and prop yourself up here so they're slightly in front of the shoulders, like this, yeah. So it's a similar kind of Sphinx pose where you're holding on to, it's like this. And then what we will do is release your left hand. So the sole of the hand is on, or the palm of the hand is on the mat, and the arm is parallel to the front edge of your mat. And then bring your right hand reaching back toward your right foot. Bend your right foot toward the bum and see if you can grab hold of that foot. And now see if you can flex the foot and hold on to the ankle. Yeah. You can grab the inside of it to encourage the external rotation in the arm. Or if it's easier for you to grab the outside of it with your thumb pointing down, that might be best for your body. You can try out both ways. Now kick the foot or kick the leg into the hand and feel how that opens up the right side of the heart. And now bring your shoulders square to the front of your mat and release any pulling in the leg and just stretch out your right quad. Yeah, so it's just changing what you're focusing on. So now you're releasing in the leg and the foot. I'm trying to pull that heel toward the bum, really stretching out the quad. Great. Great, and then you can release that foot, let it go long, and we'll switch sides. So you can replace your left arm with the right. Reach back toward your left foot. Bend that toward the bum, and we'll start with flexing that foot and grabbing onto the ankle and opening up the left side of the chest. So you really kick that foot into the hand. Staying with the breath. And remembering to press your opposite foot into the ground and keeping that opposite leg active too. Yeah, great. And then you can release any pulling with the leg, relax the foot, and just maybe grab hold of the top of the foot and bring that closer toward your glute. Shoulders coming square to the front of the mat, stretching out the left quad. Great. A couple more breaths. Awesome. And then you can release the foot, release your head to the arms, and just soften for a moment. Soften everything in the body, in the stomach, in the legs, in the shoulders, in the face. Awesome. When you're ready, you can bring your hands up underneath the shoulders. Elbows point up toward the sky and the arms are hugged in tight to the ribs. Pull the navel into the spine so your belly lifts slightly off the mat. And push the ground away from you, keeping those elbows in tight. Come up through a tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Notice how this down dog feels compared to the first one. Remind yourself of the cues, bringing the heart toward the thighs. But at the same time, you want to widen the collarbones and the shoulder blades equally. So you're not surrendering too much forward in the heart and you're not concaving the heart too much either. Energy reaching up through the sit bones. Nice stretch down the backs of the legs. Maybe they're a little bit more open. And then bend the knees, look up to the top of your mat and walk your feet up to meet your hands. Landing in that halfway lift as you inhale. Heart coming forward. Great, exhale, release. 2 breaths here, let it go. And now inhale, you can rise yourself up to stand, gather up the air, reach up and out, maybe a slight back bend at the top. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take this moment to check back in, to pause. Remind yourself why you're practicing today. Feel the heartbeat, feel your breath. We'll now practice a few standing postures. So when you're ready, you can leave your left foot where it is and step your right foot back into warrior 1 legs. So your right toes are facing the front right corner of the mat. Your right hips coming forward, left hips pulling back just so that they're square to the front. Pull up on your pelvic floor, so feel your pubic bone coming up toward both hip bones and the hip bones coming down as well. Feeling this whole area really tight and secure. Not letting any energy escape from there, keeping it all in our bodies. And keep that front knee over the front ankle. Inner thighs are magnetically drawing in toward each other. As you inhale, you can lift the arms up. And exhale, cactus your arms so the elbows come in line with the shoulders. Inhale, reach. And exhale, cactus. Keep doing this with your own breath. You can move as fast or as slow as you want. You can add in some hand movements if it feels natural to you. Maybe bringing the palms to face each other when you reach and the palms to face out when you cactus. And keep reminding yourself of your base, letting your tailbone really tuck down toward the ground to find some more space in your lower back. One more round. And when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your hips. Inhale to straighten out your front leg. And exhale to dive forward, halfway lift style, leading with the heart. And maybe you just land here and stay here in your pyramid. Maybe you bring your hands to frame your foot on either side or to blocks. Wherever you are, continue to pull your left hip back. Continue to feel the space in between your left heel and your left sit bone. And maybe surrendering in the upper body, maybe letting the forehead reach toward the shin. Making sure the soles of both feet are firm on the mat. If you need to adjust your stance in order to achieve that, go ahead and do so. So we'll add in a little twist. You can leave your right hand where it is and bring your left hand back to your sacrum. And just check this out. See how flat that is. Make sure that is staying even. And then you can start to peel your heart open toward the left. So your shoulders stack on top of one another. Perfect. And maybe those fingertips reach up toward the sky. But make sure you're not dumping weight into your right shoulder. Make sure you're lifting up and out of that. You can always adjust your stance. It might help to widen it here. And keeping the left hip crease pulling back. Yeah, blocks are really helpful here. And every time you exhale, tug your navel in toward the spine a little bit more. So you find a little bit more space to twist. Maybe you look up. Awesome. As you exhale, you can release that hand to the ground. Rebend your front leg and inhale the arms up to your warrior one. And as you exhale, release the arms and step forward, mountain pose. Great. We'll do that on the other side. So you can leave your right foot where it is and step your left foot back, warrior one. And right away, noticing the difference. Left leg, left hamstring's a lot looser now. So checking in with your alignment, keeping that pelvic floor pulling up, keeping the inner thighs pulling toward each other. Left hip coming forward, right hip pulling back. Imagine there's headlights on your hips and they're going straight forward in front of you. As short as you need to make your stance or as wide as you need to make it in order to achieve that, do that. When you're ready, you can inhale and reach your arms up. Get some more length in the side bodies. And then exhale, cactus the arms. So we'll keep doing this. You can move with your own breath. Again, maybe your palms face each other when you reach up. And maybe when you cactus, your palms face away from you. It can feel nice. But doing your best to keep everything about your base the same. Keeping the legs really active, the pelvic floor is really active. Tucking that tailbone down, finding some more length in the lower back. Opening up the heart a little bit more with each exhale. letting the breath guide the movement instead of the movement guiding the breath. Let's do one more time. And then you can bring the hands to your hips, and as you inhale, straighten out that front leg. Exhale and hinge at the hips, reach forward with the heart, and come into your pyramid pose on this side. Same options. You can do whatever you did on the other side. But not forcing yourself into the same position you were on the other side. Just honoring wherever this side is at. Letting yourself unfold naturally. Maybe relaxing the head, letting it reach toward the shin. Breathing into the right hamstring. Allow the space from the right heel through the right hip to get a little bit longer each time you exhale. And then we'll add the twist in here. So you can leave your left hand where it is and bring the right hand back to your sacrum and just feel that it's even. If it's not even, adjust yourself so that it is. Keep pulling that right hip back. Start to open up your heart toward the right, stacking the shoulders. And then if all this feels good, you can reach the right fingertips up. Again, very helpful to have your hand on a block or a book or something to give you some more height. And really reach out of your left shoulder. Let your left arm be active, but not supporting all of your weight. Keep pulling the right hip back. Keep pulling the navel into the spine. Activate the pelvic floor. 2 more breaths like this. Inhale, reach your crown of your head forward. Exhale, twist a little more. Beautiful. Exhale, you can release your right arm, framing that front foot again. Put a slight bend in your front leg and inhale the arms up, warrior 1. And exhale, arms release, step forward, mountain pose. Great. And now we'll flush all that out of our system. As you inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Let it go. Shake the head, yes. Shake the head, no. Maybe sigh it out. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise up to stand, reach up, maybe a slight back bend, open up the heart. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. We'll do one more round of standing postures before we cool down. So when you're ready, leave your left foot where it is, step the right foot back to warrior 2. So again, I've been hearing conflicting things about the back foot. I've always been taught back foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Your hips are squared to the side in warrior 2, yeah. So your back foot can either be parallel to the back edge of the mat, or they can be similar to warrior 1 feet with the back foot at a slight angle. You can try them out, see what you want. The heels can intersect, or the front heel can intersect the back arch. And keep your front knee reaching toward the pinky side of the foot. Feel as if this hip is rolling under. And let your tailbone reach straight down as the crown of your head reaches straight up. Let your arms reach straight from your heart. So your right arm's reaching back just as much as your left arm's reaching forward. And we're always going forward, so our gaze is over the left fingertips. You want to stretch some muscles around your heart. You can bring the palms to face away from you, reach through the heels of the hands, or reach through fingertips, whatever feels best. Or even roll out the wrists, whatever your body wants to do. Keep your inner thighs pulling in toward each other and keep that pelvic floor active. Pubic, feeling like you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans, your pubic bone and 2 hip bones, all this region coming together. Our energy exits through here. So when we're practicing yoga, we want to keep it all in. Breathing in this very active pose. Feel the strength of this pose. Perfect. And then you can slowly straighten out that front leg. And now shift your hips back and reach your left arm forward, keeping the side bodies long. Yeah, and then we'll come into triangle pose. So when you can't reach forward anymore, you allow your left fingertips to reach down, right fingertips to reach up. Yes, always have a block here if you want a little support, or you can rest that hand on your shin. But wherever your hand is resting, don't let it rest there. Just let it be there for support. Keep your lower belly active. Keep that pelvic floor active. And the side bodies, you can imagine there's toothpicks from your hip bones to the bottom of your ribs, keeping that nice and long. It is okay if your back hip is coming forward. They don't have to be like in a pane of glass. Whatever feels best. If anything hurts, come out. Another breath here. Awesome. And then rebend your front leg. And now let's just bring your elbow to the top of your thigh. So you just rebend it, yeah. And now reach your right arm up alongside the ear. So we're in extended side angle. So you really focus on feeling the space from the outside edge of your right foot all the way through the fingertips, but still keeping length in the left side of the body too. So lifting out of that left shoulder. Perfect. All right, now we can inhale back to center, warrior 2. Straighten out that front leg. Turn your feet parallel to each other. Hands come to hips. Inhale, lift your heart slightly toward the ceiling. And exhale, hinge at your hips. Lead with your heart. Wide-legged forward fold. Awesome. You can leave the hands there. You can let them relax to the floor. And notice where your hips are going. So sometimes when you go into wide leg forward fold, our hips really come super far behind the heels. Like that. But we want to try to leave them. If you want to really encourage this, you can do it against a wall even. And just feel that difference because it's kind of crazy. So you really want to do your best to keep your hips in line with the heels and use your core to help you down. Looking good. And in a forward fold, we want to encourage our bodies to go forward first and then down. So shift your weight slightly more toward the balls of the feet. And this is one of those funny positions where it's actually more challenging when your feet are closer together and a bit easier when your feet are further apart. So do with that what you will. Just like in our regular forward fold, keep your sit bones lifting high. Keep feeling the space down the backs of the legs. Relax the head. Relax the shoulders. Relax the belly, the jaw, the forehead, the neck. Just find some stillness here. Two more breaths. Wonderful. When you're ready, slowly walk the hands up the legs. Roll yourself back up to stand and pause. Close the eyes and observe. Allow the blood to settle. Maybe seeing spots, letting your vision return. When you're ready, turn your right toes out, and we'll come into warrior 2 on the other side. So again, you can turn your right heels out and your left heel slightly out, if that feels good. And also a tendency in Warrior Two, I should have said this on the other side too, is that your back hip will come out. So you kind of, Mom, look for a second. So sometimes in Warrior Two, we're like this. So see how this hip is out and this knee is here? You want to come here. So you want to push this hip in so that your tailbone's reaching straight down and the crown of your head straight up. Yeah, perfect. You can probably, I mean, your stance is fine, but you could probably make it wider if you wanted to. Explore that. Yeah. Perfect. And then we're always looking over the fingertips over the bent knee. Perfect. And keep that pubic bone actively pulling up. Keep the inner thighs pulling in toward each other. And you want to focus on keeping your shoulders and hips square to the side, even though you're looking over the right, kind of like an Egyptian painting style. Awesome. So another breath like this, keeping those feet active as well, the foundation of the pose. And then we'll slowly straighten out that front leg. Start to shift your hips back now and reach forward as far as you possibly can, keeping length in the spine. And then reaching down, reaching up, triangle pose. And if you were in a really wide stance for your Warrior Two, then you'd bring it in for your triangle pose. So it's really important. I think the most important thing here is to keep your low belly active, because this is what happens when my low belly is not active. I'm like down here, and when my low belly is active, I'm up here. So you really want to make sure that you're not sacrificing any length anywhere in the body. The whole purpose of this pose is to get everything as long as possible. Your legs, your side bodies, your arms, the neck. So you're not as long as possible if you're down here, because this is sacrificing. Perfect. Another breath. And then remember, we'll come right into our extended side angle. So just rebend your front leg and bring your elbow here, and then reach your left arm up alongside the ear. Perfect. So remember we're getting the left body as long as possible. So we're really reaching from the outside edge of the foot through the fingertips. But when I do that, it kind of makes a rainbow shape. So you can do that for like a moment, but then to hold the pose, we want to be as long as possible everywhere. So we want to re-extend the right side of the body as well. Perfect. Look how straight that is. Yay. Awesome. And then you can come back up to center, Warrior Two. Re-straighten the front leg. Turn the feet parallel. Hands come to hips. Or if you want to stretch out the shoulders, you can interlace the hands behind the back, reach the fist toward the floor, open up the heart. And exhale, hinge, dive forward. Allow the fist to drag you even more forward. And if the heels of your hands aren't, or try to get the heels of your hands to touch. No, so yeah, perfect. So you always want the heels of your hands to touch, or else it's kind of pointless. If that's not possible, then you can always grab opposite elbows like this, or just release the arms altogether if it doesn't feel good. Awesome. Now you can release your arms and bring them to either ankle. Right. And now we'll play around, put a bend in each leg. One by one, just moving with your breath. You can let this be fluid, no rules. And now grab opposite elbows as you do the same thing. So you'll notice your upper body kind of moves in like a figure 8 motion. It just feels really nice, I think. If this doesn't feel nice for any reason, you don't have to do this. I just like it. Swaying back and forth, noticing how the weight shifting side to side. And then once you're over at your left foot, hold on to that ankle with your right hand. Straighten out both legs and even out both hips. Reach your left arm up toward the sky. Yeah. So you'll notice the tendency here is to shift your weight toward the left hip and let that hip come up higher. So you just want to keep bringing your hips so that your sacrum is square to the ceiling and you're really twisting from the belly. So perfect. And exhale, you can release and mosey over to the other side. So the left hand comes outside the right ankle. And again, you'll notice how this right hip really wants to come up. Bring that back down, square the hips to the floor and to the ceiling, reach up with the right arm. Relax the head and the face. Awesome. Another breath. And exhale, release that arm, come back to center. And just find stillness for about 5 more seconds. Let your sit bones lift a little bit higher. Let the weight shift more toward the balls of the feet. Let your belly relax. You're getting so loose right now. On the next inhale, slowly, very slowly, walk your hands up the legs. Bring yourself back up to stand gently with patience. Letting yourself rest at the top for a moment and just let everything settle. No rush. Okay. Awesome. So when you're ready, let's turn to face the front of the mat, mountain pose. We will flow to a child's pose to finish practice. So you can do one last whole vinyasa if you want, or just go right from down dog to a child's pose. It's up to you. Inhale, the arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Feel the hamstrings. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Plant your hands down. Inhale, step back to a plank. Option to move through your vinyasa here, first and last, or go right to your child's pose. Whenever you do land in your child's pose, you can allow your knees to be together and feet to be together if you want to focus more on your spine today. Or if you want to focus more on your hips, you can allow your feet to be together and your knees to be as wide as your mat. Whatever your body's calling for in this moment, listen there. You can gently shake your head no, side to side, massaging your forehead and third eye center. And just let yourself go. Let yourself release. Trust that you have done everything that was required of you. Trust that there is nowhere else you should be right now. Relax the shoulders. Relax the jaw and the teeth. Relax the hips. Relax the toes. Take 5 more breaths here. When you're ready, you can gently begin to walk your hands toward your seat and bring yourself to a seat on your heels. Shift your weight to the left and bring both of your hands to the right. Just a nice little thing on the back I like. And then just come back to center, shift your hips to the right, bring your hands to the left. Sometimes this really cracks my back, so nice. And then come back to center. And then across, you can lean forward for a moment, cross your ankles, and sit back down. And you come into your, just sit down. Isn't that fun? Cool. And you can bring yourself to the center of your mat if you're not there. Let's just go right down to the back. So you can bring the soles of your feet to the mat, grab the backs of your thighs, and slowly lower down. Whatever you want to do when you arrive. If you want to separate the feet as wide as your mat and windshield wipe for the legs, this will massage out the glutes and release your lower back. Or if you would rather massage out your lower back, you can hug the knees in toward the chest and rock side to side there. Or you can do both. So wherever you are, pay really close attention to what is making contact with your mat. Throughout any yoga practice, if you find your mind wandering or don't know what to focus on, that is a really good thing you can always return to. Focus on what's touching the floor. Sometimes it's only our feet. Sometimes it's our whole body. Just bring all your attention there and really just notice. And notice how it feels when certain areas touch the floor versus others. And feel how you can massage yourself against the floor just by the weight of your body shifting. We did a lot of things to open up the body today, so let's finish doing such a great pose. We can come into our shoulder stand into Plow Pose. If you have any issues with your neck whatsoever, don't do this. You can just hang out here with legs up the wall. But if you're good to go, just make sure that you don't move your head. Like, don't look at the camera or at the screen when all that weight is on your neck. You just want to keep the head going straight. So when you're ready, you can maybe grab some momentum, but bring your hands to your hips, and this will help you. And really push into the ground with so your arms are really tight against your torso, and your hands can be underneath your hips. And you push into the ground with your forearms as you lift your sit bones off the ground and walk your hands up the spine. So it's like coming down, but you're walking them up. And then if you want to stay in shoulder stand, I'll give you some cues for that. So you can really activate the core and pull your glutes in and reach your toes up toward the ceiling and walk your elbows in toward each other. So your chest is coming toward your chin. Your pubic bone is coming forward and your glutes are active. Awesome. This is a very active pose. This is a perfect pose to do if you want to learn handstands. This is a really good, this strengthens all the right muscles. And then if you want to play around here, you're welcome to. So you can come into like a wide-legged position. You can be bring the soles of your feet together and be in like a butterfly pose with the legs. And then to come into plow pose, you just hinge at your hips, just like in a forward fold. It's opposite, and let your toes come to the ground above your head. You can keep your hands on your lower back, or you can also bend the knees here. This is snail pose. And if your anatomy works out that way, it's really nice to rest your kneecaps in your eye sockets. My body works out that way, so that's cool. This kind of massages your eyes. And your hands can stay on your lower back for support, or you can interlace the hands and reach them long on your mat and actively push them down into the mat. So permission to play here, also permission to come out whenever you need to. When you do need to come out, you keep your legs bent, bring your hands to your lower back, and slowly walk your hands down the back and maybe rock up with yourself so that it's not just like slamming on the floor. Yeah, perfect. And then release back down to the mat, unwind, maybe reach long. And let's counter that actually before we come into final resting pose. So we'll counter it with a fish pose. So you reach your legs long on the mat, prop yourself up on your elbows so that your elbows are underneath the shoulders. And then lift your heart up toward the ceiling. You can imagine there's a string on your heart, and tilt your head back, maybe bringing the top of your head to the mat and continuing to lift your heart high. Perfect. Awesome. And then to come out, just slowly bring the back of your head to the mat and lower yourself down. We made it. When you're ready, bring the feet up toward the ceiling. Bring the arms up toward the ceiling. And let it go. Feel everything we practiced today soak into your body, into every cell. Feel anything we built up, any negative toxins or energy, just feel it leave your body through the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands. Allow it to leave your body. Maybe even picturing it as black smoke leaving your body. As all the blood within you is traveling into the torso, all of your organs resting into their place, resting against the mat. Allowing the legs to rest in the hip sockets and the arms to rest in the shoulder sockets. Let this be effortless. A few more breaths, as if your limbs are wading in water. When you're ready, if you would like, come into your happy baby. Reach for the big toes, the outside edges of the feet, the shins, the thighs, whatever's available. Maybe straightening out the legs or one leg at a time, rocking or finding stillness. As you're ready, the soles of the feet can find each other and allow the outside edges of the feet to find the mat. Into your reclined bound ankle pose. Resting here as long as it feels good. Permission to straighten out the legs into your final Savasana whenever you're ready. 11-11, make a wish. Once you're nice and comfy, fully surrender your body into the mat. Let go of any holding or resisting throughout the body. Allow the benefits of this practice to soak in fully. I will guide you through a chakra activation. Leave a few moments for silence before we start our days again. So whenever you're ready, surrendering. Now imagine a beam of light above you, lighting up your entire body. And this light is the size and shape of your own body. Relax the forehead, relax the eyebrows and the jaw. And there's no need to worry if you don't clearly see this light that's the shape of your body. You can trust that it's there. This light is beaming down on every inch of your body. Feel the warmth. Feel that healing energy. Allow the light to soak into your cells. This light is a reflection of you. As we start to activate our chakras within our body, we see that reflected on the light above us. Bring your attention to the base of your spine, the space in between the sit bones. Feel the pulsing sensations here, gentle or strong. And notice any color that you see. Maybe it's a deep reddish color. Repeat to yourself, I am safe. And don't just say the words, feel the feelings. Feel how safe you are. Feel how secure you are. Moving up to the sacral chakra, the lower belly and the sacrum. Feel this area pulsing. Notice any colors that you see. Maybe an orange color. Repeat to yourself, I am joyful and creative. And know that this is truth. And the light that's shaped like you above you, notice the bottom two chakras glowing there as well. Red and orange lights glowing back at you. Moving your attention to the solar plexus at the stomach, about 2 inches above the navel. Notice the sensations and any colors noticed here. Maybe a yellow tint. Repeat to yourself, I am confident in who I am. I am worthy. I am worthy of all good things. Notice the light from your solar plexus reflected in the light above you. Moving up to the heart chakra. Feeling that rhythm of your own heartbeats, noticing any colors that you see here. Maybe you see something with a greenish tint to it, an emerald tint. Repeat to yourself, I am pure love. And notice this emerald light reflected in the light above you. Moving up to the throat. Feeling the sensations and maybe a bluish color here, or whatever you see. I am honest in my communications with myself and others. Notice it reflected on the light shaped like you above you. Attention coming to the third eye center, the space between the eyebrows. Noticing what you see here. Repeat to yourself, I trust my inner guide and my intuition. Notice this light reflected above you. Coming to our final chakra, our crown, at the very tip of your head. Notice the sensations or any colors here. I am connected clearly to source energy. And notice this reflected above you as well. Feel all the energy in your body flowing freely. Now allow and notice the light that's shaped like you with all of the active chakras. Notice it start to sink down, coming closer and closer to your body. Feeling it as it comes closer and closer to your body. Resting just above you now. As you exhale, allow this light to enter your body. Allow it to soak into every cell, charging you up even more from within. And rest for a few more moments, allowing the healing to take place. You're more than welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. And if you're ready to come out of this, you can begin first by deepening the breath, by wiggling the fingers and the toes, maybe rocking the head side to side. You can reach the arms overhead, get the body nice and long before finding your way eventually to a fetal position. No rush. When you're ready, gently make your way up to your seat and we'll meet with our hands at heart center. And thanking yourself deeply and fully for this practice. May this continue to heal you, and may you bring some of this love and light to everything you do and everyone you see. Namaste.